you're a farmer or a rancher who's ever been interested in thinking about how what you're doing affects the soil and in enhancing natural systems, or if you've ever wondered about how consumers are making their purchasing decisions, this interview is for you. I'm Brett McRae here on Northern Ag TV, talking now with Chris Mayhews, the Executive Director of the Western Sustainability Exchange. We're here at the Expanding Markets Conference in Billings. Chris, tell me what's going on this week with the Expanding Markets Conference.
Yeah, so this is our third year holding this event. We've got a lot of companies in town. We've got local chefs. We've got a lot of ranchers from across the area that are trying some different innovative ways to get their product in front of consumers to tell their story, and hopefully by managing their properties better, they can take the information, get it out to consumers, and realize more profit, more income over time.
And based on some of our conversations in the past at this conference and other places, I'm going to try and do a little comprehension here. So when we're thinking about regenerative agriculture, we're thinking about farming and ranching practices that enhance natural systems like the principles of soil health and whatnot. Talk about how those conversations are happening here and what kind of information is shared between producers and other parts of the food industry.
Yeah, so we have a lot of ranchers in our network that are trying more innovative practices. In essence, it's just doing more of the types of things that reinvigorate nature on your property. So it's really working with nature rather than against her. And I'm a big proponent of the fact that good agricultural practices are why we have valuable wildlife habitat, is why people can enjoy recreation and all the resources that we have. So it's not that anyone in agriculture is abusing anything out there. We're just using the information that we have, and we're constantly learning. So I really believe that agriculturalists are the ones that care for our environment and always have, but we can always learn more. And so what this opportunity is to bring those folks together that are trying new things and seeing successes, opening their minds and working with groups like World Wildlife Fund and Nature Conservancy and Audubon, who unfortunately, if you look back 20, 30 years, they were kind of opponents of agriculture, but I think a lot of that has come around in the last 20, 30 years, and I think we see a lot more reason to work together. So we're seeing money coming to incentivize things rather than money to penalize people for doing the wrong things. And so really what this conference is about is trying to bring those people together so we can have those discussions and try to connect that money directly to the ground and benefit the people that want to learn more and keep doing better and better by their land all the time.
Absolutely, and that's part of the reason why we call it the Expanding Markets Conference. Again, that's Chris Mayhews, the Executive Director for the Western Sustainability Exchange, and here on Northern Ag TV, I'm Brett McRae.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Northern Ag TV. I'm Brett McRae. Before we get into your agricultural markets, let's talk about some of the most important headlines and events that are coming up soon. First, this week, lawmakers in Washington, D.C. are expected to vote on and approve a plan that would fund the government through December 20th, avoiding a potential shutdown date of October 1st. This, of course, does not include any Farm Bill provisions, which is on a one-year extension and expires September 30th. I'd expect that we see some sort of extension on the Farm Bill last minute, but it's unlikely that Congress will make meaningful progress on Farm Bill legislation in this election cycle. Colombia has lifted a ban on U.S. beef put in place earlier this year based on concerns from the country about highly pathogenic avian influenza in dairy cattle in the U.S. U.S. Meat Export Federation President and CEO Dan Halstrom praised the lifting of this ban and also praised the actions of USDA officials in Colombia working with the government and Colombian importers and consumers themselves demanding that their country resume trade in U.S. beef. And finally, on October 7th in Rapid City, RCAF USA and the U.S. Cattlemen's Association are holding a joint event called the Livestock Producers Freedom Rally, which will discuss USDA's incoming EID rule that requires electronic ID tags on intact cattle 18 months and older traveling interstate. USDA President Justin Tupper and RCAP CEO Bill Bullard will discuss their organization's opposition to USDA's EID rule. And turning to your markets, slightly higher cattle futures in another day of quiet trade Tuesday. Friday's cattle on feed report was very close to market expectations, and futures are trading uneventfully after higher cash cattle trade last week. Way up cows at Bowman Livestock Auction in North Dakota, mostly brought from 125 to 135, bulls from 145 to 157. Feeder lambs mostly $5 to $10 lower at the public auction yards in Billings this week. 70 to 79 pound lambs from 180 to 203 and 80 to 89 pound lambs from 161 to 178. On Tuesday, only soybeans made gains in the futures markets. Both corn and wheat fell in modest corrections to progress from Monday. Recent rain has helped the winter wheat crop that has been planted get off to a good start. The forecast is dry going forward. All wheat inspections on the export side of things, 36% higher than a year ago as those exports continue to outperform expectations. Thanks for tuning in to Northern Ag TV. I'm Brett McCrae.